Hey honeybees, welcome back to my channel and welcome to another video, another day. I am super excited to be here and hopefully you guys are too. But as you've seen by the title, today's video is going to be my December and January wrap up. I didn't even realize I had not posted a December wrap up. Like I was like, oh, I did a December wrap up. Then I looked back and I was like, I didn't even post it. Like I never even filmed it. Like it never happened. So here I am today to give you my December and January wrap up. All the books I read in both months, my feelings, my ratings, and no spoilers. Hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video. Let's just go ahead and hop right on into it. I just want to say most of these books I actually don't have in like full copy or paper copy or anything like that because most of them are online and on my Kindle, so I don't have them. And also the ones I did have from December, I took them back home for my winter break, so I don't have them, but I will put every photo on the screen and of course just like, you know, tell you how I feel about them. First we're gonna start off of course in December. I'm just gonna go down the list because these are all of the books and I just want to make sure that I have them all. First and foremost, I read Recipe for a Charmed Life by Rachel Linden. This was such a good book. I kid you not. I love this book so much. I rated it a 5-star. I think this was like my only 5-star of December. I'm not even kidding. This was such a good book and I finished it on Christmas Eve, which was really interesting, but it was such a beautiful book and I was not disappointed whatsoever. It was just such a lovely story. I think it was so cool because personally, I am still kind of going through the same situation this book talks about, which is a mother and daughter relationship that is actually very strained. The mother reaches out to the daughter after like 10 years, maybe even 15. I'm not even really sure. But now she's in her 30s and her mom just reached out to her and she doesn't even know like where to start. She just gets broken up with her boyfriend, loses her job. Her whole life literally comes crashing down like in the midst of a day. And so she has to figure out how she's gonna live her life. She loses her sense of taste. And all of these things happen in the midst of also getting to know her mother. She also gets to learn about what happened with her mother, her father, why they broke up and everything. It's really an interesting book and I found it so lovable and so good. We also get this other character in there. I don't really remember all the characters' names. I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. I think his name was Finn, but it might not be true. I don't think that's his name. But yeah, there was just a lot in the story. There was so much going on. Oh, and the main character's name is Georgia. I literally couldn't think of it. Like, I was like, what is her name? Anyways, yeah, this was a pretty good book. I definitely recommend it if you're looking for something quick and sweet with no spice at all. I don't think there was any spice in it. No, maybe a little bit, maybe one little chili pepper. But other than that, it was a really good book and I truly thought it was a great story and it was very interesting. It was very different than what I had thought it was going to be and I was very happy with the outcome. So I rated it a 5-star and I would definitely recommend reading this and I probably would read this again. The next book was The One Night by Meghan Quinn. This was a 4-star for me. I read this on my 24-hour reading challenge and I thought this was a really good book, but I was so upset with the ending. Like the ending is the reason that I knocked it off a star. It's because of the fact that that happened at the end. I was like, bro, please be for real. I was very disappointed, but the start of the book was so good. I love the comedic side of this book. It was very funny. It was giving rom-com-ish. The parents are absolutely hilarious to me. I was like, bro, I've never seen anybody's parents do this to them. Like, what in the world? And it was just so interesting. But it was a good book. The ending really was the part that got me for real, for real. And basically it's like the best friend, no, ex-wife's best friend. Yeah, it's a little messy, but it's only like 79 pages, maybe 126. I don't really remember, but it was a pretty good book, so I rated it a 4-star. These next 5 books are actually part of a series, so I read the whole series. It's 5 books. It was the Under the Mistletoe collection that came out this December, and it was all of the authors: Hazelwood, Tessa Bailey, Olivia Dade. The other 2 are Alexis, Daria, and the last author, Alexandria, Bellefleur. I read all 5 of the books. As a whole, this collection is only like 2-star, but separately, each book, the first one, Cruel Winter with You, was a 3-star. The second book, Merry Ever After by Tessa Bailey, was a 2-star. The third book, All by My Elf, was actually my favorite, I think, and it was a 4-star. And then the last 2, we got Only Santa's in the Building, was a 3-star, and then the Merriment and Mayhem was 2 stars. This series as a whole was just basically a lot of sex and spice, and personally, that is not my favorite thing ever at all. At all, I'm not kidding. The only 2 I really actually truly liked out of this whole series was All by My Elf and Cruel Winter with You. Those were my 2 highest ratings. The other 3 were just kind of a bunch of sex and it really didn't, you know, move me at all. It was just quick little reads that I wanted to get done. So did I love them? No. But would I recommend them? Absolutely not. If you're not a person who likes spice or anything like that. I don't like spice, but I read them anyway. It was just a little quick series that I wanted to get out the way, I guess, and everybody was reading them, so I just read them because I was like, you know, these are just 5 books I can check off for my December TBR. So I did, and I finished them. Were they my favorite? Absolutely not. But I read them, and that's all that matters. The next book is The Mistletoe Bet by Maren Moore. I rated this a 4-star. This was not a bad book at all. I really enjoyed it. I think there was a pretty solid read though, and it was pretty fun. However, I'm not a big fan of spice in here. Again, I'm not a really big spice reader. I don't know why I keep picking up Christmas books, and all of them are about spice, and I'm just like, bro. So yeah, I had to knock it down a star. But other than that, I had no complaints about the chemistry between Parker and Quinn. It was really cute. I really liked the fact that it was childhood best friends, but it was also brother's best friend trope in there, which was really interesting. And the brother wasn't even really involved, so I was really interested in that. I really liked the fact that it wasn't like, oh my god, my sister's dating my best friend, that's really weird. Like, you know, it wasn't that. It wasn't that at all. I really thought that was interesting. The dynamic between Quinn and her mother was quite weird to me. I'm not gonna lie. It was kind of like, kind of strained, but at the end, it kind of all wrapped up together in a better story. All of this to say that this book was a mediocre Christmas read, but it was still a good plot and storyline, which ended up being a really good book for me, and that was really interesting. And I just like the fact that the bet was like the main surrounding of it, but like also it wasn't. There was a lot of family things in there. There was a lot of, you know, body I don't know the word, dysphoria, I think. I don't really know, like body topics about like being oversized or plus size, those kind of representations in there. It was really nice. I thought this book as a whole was really good, so I gave it a 4-star. Now the next one I read is also another Christmas book. I was really in the Christmas mood the whole December. I'm not gonna go on a kid. Oh, this is another book. I did rate this 5-star. Okay. The Holiday Swap by Maggie, Knox. Oh my gosh. This was a 5-star read, guys. So basically, if you've watched the movie The Princess Swap, I think, and it's like the sisters swap places, this is kind of that book. It has its own like little fling and flair to it, and it's really cute. Very different. I really love cute and cozy vibes it had in there. It was just such a vibe, and I really enjoyed reading it, and I love that there was like no spice at all. None. I love that. I love when Christmas movies aren't just about, okay, we're having this one night stand, this, that, and the third. Like, I really love the fact that there was plot, there was story, there was stuff to talk about. This was about Charlie and Kaz. Charlie is this talk show host on this like show. She's a cook, and so she basically had this hosting job, and then Kaz is living at home, running the family bakery. They swap lives, and the story goes from there. The love interests are, I think, I don't want to get his name wrong. I think it's Jake. And the doctor, I can't remember his name, but yeah, it's the love interest, and they kind of get mixed up. And then like, I love the fact that at the end that a lot of stuff came out. However, I was really annoyed at some points in the story. I was like, bro, just tell him. Just tell them. Just tell them. And I just kept going. And of course, it blew up in their faces, but they can't hear me through the book, of course. That's okay too. I think I also read this again in my 24-hour reading vlog. And this was just really fun, very interesting, very cozy, very cute. I just loved it. And I was just sitting in my little chair and just having the time of my life reading this book. So those were all of the books I read in December, which was really interesting, very fun. December was a good month for all of the reads I read. So I would say reading that many books was like such a top goal for me, and that was really cool that I was able to read that many, but it was also just a good month of reads. There was a variety. There was some books I liked, but the only 2 of them really stuck out for me, of course, like I said. And so I'm happy that I have variety, and it also gave me a little bit of a difference of how I want to rate books, and it was really nice. Now moving on to January. I have all of the books here except for one that is on my Kindle app. I had The Christmas Book Hunt by Jenny Colgan. I rated this book a 3-star. It wasn't a horrible book. It was good. It was entertaining. Definitely something very different from any Christmas book I've ever read. This was very, I don't know how to explain it. Like, it was just such a different vibe. It was very unique. It had its own little thing going on. And this really was cool because it was like they're searching through England for this one book that her aunt wants before she passes. And it's just very cute, very good. I love the relationship. I wasn't that engaged in it. I did end up having it audio read to me. It was still pretty good. I love the storyline. I love the tying in the book and searching all throughout England. That was just really the plot that hit me. But it wasn't like, oh my god, top tier. Like, I really love this book. I just gave it a 3-star because it was still a pretty solid book, and I thought it was pretty good. I just didn't wasn't invested in it. You know what I'm saying? Like, the relationship wasn't top tier. It wasn't like crazy good. You know, it was good enough. Now moving on to some of the books we have over here that I read in January. So I read 6 books in total in January, story, which was really cool, very great. However, one of these books I did not read, so let's talk about them. Alright, first we're gonna start off with A Magical Girl Retires by Park Seolyeon. This book is very fun, very interesting, very different. I rated this a 4-star, and it was still a really good book. I thought this was really interesting, very different, and of course I love the magic aspect. It was just very cute. It wasn't too deep of a storyline of like magic and where all the magic come from. It's not all of that. It's just really like people have powers, and they basically are like the superheroes, like the Marvel superheroes of Seoul, South Korea. And so it's pretty interesting. I really liked it. It was different. It was cool. They never named the character, I don't think, but I also wasn't expecting all of the reality points to hit in here about like climate change. For one, like that was the biggest like point in this book, like climate change. I literally was not expecting that. Like I was like, oh wow. And just how much humans are damaging it, and that like there's no one person that can save it but us, and if we don't save it, then it's just gonna end, and the world is gonna end soon. You know what I'm saying? It was a very realistic and deep topic. I know that sounds scary, and I know that might sound like, oh my gosh, like the world's gonna end soon, but like if we keep going at the rate we are as humans, it might. So this was just really interesting, and it was like, okay, these magical girls have powers all around. It also ended up being LGBTQ. I did not expect that. I was not expecting that storyline at all. I was like, oh wow, that was like a pop in there, but it wasn't like the main basis of the story at all. It was really cool, really interesting, and I definitely would recommend this if you're looking for a story that's like, okay, I'm looking for something fun, something different, a little bit of realistic topic in there, but also something quick and easy to read that isn't like too deep or anything like that. However, this does deal with like suicide and well, suicide attempts at that, and you know, suicidal thoughts, all those things. So look up trigger warnings and stuff like that if you're not looking forward to reading something like that. It doesn't go like too deep in the detail, but it does start out the story like that. So full warning you before you go into this book, but it was so good. The next book on here is Nick and Noel's Christmas Playlist. I know. I said I was gonna read it. I did. And I did read it. Did I finish it though? No. I ended up soft DNFing this. I'm so sorry. I'm not in the mood to read Christmas books anymore, and I think I'm tired of Christmas books, period, right now. So I'm just gonna soft DNF it until December. So we'll see this book again at the end of the year, but right now I am soft DNFing it because I don't think I'm gonna get to this at any point and any time soon. So I just ended up DNFing it. I don't want to like force myself to read something I'm not in the mood to read and not liking the book. It's still a good storyline so far. The book is pretty good. I do want to like start over and just like really read it, but right now no. So I'm just soft DNFing it. Sorry. The next book is Knowing God by J.I Packer. I am officially not reading books that are nonfiction, informational, anything like that. I'm officially not reading these anymore. So not that it's a 0-star. Technically you can count this as a 5-star, but I'm just not gonna rate it, period. This is a really good and knowledgeable book. I thought this was very interesting. It gave me some good insights about my relationship with God, how I think about certain things in the Bible. This was very interesting, very different, and I enjoyed it. And you can never know too much about God, and this really just hit home of like how you know God and like what you should do if you really truly believe that you know God, because it kind of debates with Christians that say, I know God, and yeah, I do this and I do that, but are you really like in a relationship with God? Do you really know God? And it makes you question yourself as a Christian. This is a very thought-provoking book, and it was very nice, very interesting. I thank you, J.I Packer, for this book. This was such a beautiful book. I really loved it. I audio read this, so just listening to this makes it even deeper. Like, it's different when you're like reading something, depends on what it is, but when you're reading something, it's like, okay, I got this, but like when you hear somebody else say it, it just hits a little different. I was like, ooh, you're hitting me, you're convicting me, like that's crazy. But yeah, this was really good. I really enjoyed it, and I'm definitely looking forward to reading more of these like, you know, non-fiction Christian books that'll help me deepen my relationship with God and get more insight about God himself. So this was really good, and I definitely recommend it if you're looking to deepen your relationship with God and you want to have some thoughts and you want to be questioned and you want to be challenged as a Christian. And it's really important that as Christians we be challenged, because we need to keep being convicted. We need to be able to keep our relationship strong and faithful. So this was a really good book for that. The next book on here is also another non-fiction kind of book. This is Black Girl Call Home. This is by Jasmine Mans. This really hit the noggin. I'm not gonna lie, if you're a black girl and like, oh my gosh, black girl struggle is actually so real, and this book really just hit that nail and hit that point that being a black girl is really hard. Like, and when you read a story about it, it just makes you like rethink your whole childhood, your whole life all over again about like what you shouldn't do. All the rules as a black female that we go through, absolutely crazy. This also talked about LGBT representation and all those things. It talks about, it rhymes with ape, but yeah, this was wow. All right, y'all, we are moving on down. We got 2 more books left. Now these last 2 books are part of book clubs. So basically on Fable, which is another app that I've been using recently and I love it so much, and I also started my own book club one. I told y'all about this on my last video. So if you're still not in the book club, you need to be. Literally, oh my gosh, these books are so good, and I wouldn't have read them without the book clubs, let's be honest. So the first book is One of Us is Lying, woo, by Karen McManus. Now, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. This book was crazy. And the plot twist at the end actually hit me. I was like, bro, what? What do you mean? What? I was so shocked by the ending. It's actually crazy. I was like, wow. This story had me thinking that I was crazy. I was like, okay, he did it. She did it. No, you did it. No, you did it. Like, hold on. Piece that together. Hold up, wait. Like, it had me questioning everything just for the end to make me so upset. Like, you would have never expected it, especially if you go into this real blind, like especially if you haven't heard any spoilers. Like, I went into this mostly blind. Like, I didn't hear many spoilers at all. I don't think I heard any spoilers about this book. I think I just went in here straight up blind. So this was a part of my book club for the love of books. Again, if you're not following that, you should be, and if you want to read along with us, you should. But yeah, this was wow. All I have to say is wow. This was crazy. It was interesting. It was like, I couldn't put this book down, and when I had to, it was really sad because I really just wanted to read. But yeah, this baby right here, she was a good one. I can't lie. And I was also annotating in here. I think I mentioned this before, but I got back into my annotation, and no, I don't have the tabs on here, but I did put some words in here, and I was underlining, I was writing, I was talking. Okay, this was one of my high priority books when it comes to books that I want to finish this year in my physical TBR. This book had been sitting in the back collecting dust, kid you not, but I was like, I really need to finish this. I really need to read it, and I did. And one thing about me, I love murder mysteries, especially when it comes to YA murder mysteries. But I don't like YA murder mysteries where it's like middle school. I like the high school murder mysteries, the YA. I love the aspect of it because it's so different. They're in the middle of almost life-changing events, and then another life-changing event happens to them. It's absolutely crazy. This was so good. This was so good. And of course, the way I'm talking about it, you would think I rated it a 5-star. I rated it a 4. And the only reason I rated it a 4, I kid you not, is because of the ending. It be the endings that make it like, yeah, that 1 star has to go. Because like, why did you do that to me? But last and not least, we finally have the book I have put on my TBR 4 to 5 times. If you had been with me, by Laura Nolan. I finally did it, guys. I finally did it. I had a goal of finishing my physical TBR, and I am going to do it, okay? And so here it is. I finally read it. It was not worth all that hype. It was absolutely not worth it. Whoever hyped this book up the way they did absolutely is getting on my nerves, because who did that? I held back on this book for almost 3 years. For what? Exactly. I rated this a 3.75, and the reason, it was a good book. Don't get me wrong. It's a good solid book. It got a good solid plot line. It got a good solid storyline. However, the fact that this book stayed on Autumn the whole time, it wasn't even like, Finn was barely there, you know what I'm saying? Like, I thought this was like about their relationship and like how things happen, but like it really was just about my homegirl and her friends and their relationship. This literally was boring. Like, not that it was boring, but it was getting annoying at a certain point. Like, I got to page 150 and was like, I'm sick of this. Like, can we please move on? This book could have been 250 pages or less. Mind you, this baby's almost 400 pages. For what? There was no reason. However, I do want to read Finn's point of view, so I cannot wait to do that one. I probably will end up rating that one higher than this one. Autumn was kind of annoying, for one. Number 2, it was kind of like, girl, if you, like, I'm not gonna spoil it, but like, it was so annoying. Like, she got annoying at certain points, and it really was stressing me out. Again, I was annotating in this book as well, but I really wish this wasn't as long as it was, because I felt like I wasted a lot of time, for one. For 2, it just felt like we were focused too much on the wrong thing, and then once we got to that point, it was only like 25 pages left, I think. I don't really even know, but it was really sad. The ending was literally heartbreaking. Like, I was stunned. The end really raised the bar for the stars, because because low-key this could be a 1 star. All right, you guys, so that completes my December and January wrap up. In total, that was 16 books. In the past 2 months, I've read 16 books. It's absolutely crazy. Never has happened in my life, but hey, we've done it. Low-key, these past couple of months have been like the biggest disappointment in books because like I've only had, I think in total, 3 5 stars. Was it 3 5 stars, I believe? So I'm just like, I hope that I get like more 5 stars throughout the year. I haven't gotten a 5-star yet this year, so that's really interesting because none of the books have been 5-star yet. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Of course, stay tuned for the next video because you already know what's coming up, the February TBR. I'm excited because it's gonna be fun, it's gonna be different, it's gonna be new. Haven't done it before on my channel, but I will be doing it and I'm just super excited, so hopefully you guys are excited with me. If you made it all the way to the end of today's video, comment down below the red heart emoji. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you get notified every time I post a new video. Of course, don't forget to join Fable if you want to go ahead and be in the book club, and if you want to keep up with all of my socials, what I'm reading currently, and all those great things, you can go ahead and click all the links down below. Goodreads, Instagram, Storygraph, Fable, all those things. Please don't forget to be true and be you. I love you. God loves you. God bless. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.